Welcome, guys. We're live. Welcome to a really ad hoc Old World Fanatics. What is it? Nova Open 2024 reveal reactions, I guess. And I'm joined by Dunno, who was on our podcast this week, mate. How you going?
Good.
Thanks for jumping on. I think we just organised this 2 minutes ago. So, I was saying to you, I thought this was tomorrow for some reason. I don't know. And Andrew and I were all planning for it, and then it was today. So, so Andrew was busy, so that's all cool. But anyway, we're going to just watch the reveal once it comes on, and I'll crank the audio up a little bit once it comes on. But before then, I don't know, what are we in for? Actually, let me bring that up. This is what's coming, apparently. So I'm pretty sure, like, they did say there's no models for Old World and stuff. It's just roadmaps. So we'll see models for... hang on. We are getting something, so I might flick over to it.
Welcome to the Nova Preview Show. Today's show is going to be a little different to our usual previews. Instead of focusing specifically on upcoming miniatures, we're going to be giving you a little insight into the future of loads of your favourite games and settings. We'll even be joined by some of the talented people from the Warhammer studio to give you the inside scoop. So, whether you're a fan of the grim darkness of Warhammer 40,000, a daring traveller in the mortal realms of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, or you're engaged in any of our other settings, prepare to be delighted. Let's dive right in.
Ooh, sounds good. Hopefully people can get the audio there. You can hear it, Brian?
Yep.
Ooh, Chaos Dwarves.
Pushing Blood Bowl for a while, haven't they?
Yeah. What's this big monster coming now? Look at that. Okay. Hey, at least we're seeing the Chaos Dwarves rocking back up.
Hi, welcome back, everyone. I'm joined now by Jay and Dan, and we're going to talk about those amazing Chaos Dwarfs that we just saw. This is quite an exciting
Bring that
moment.
volume down. We can talk through them too. I don't really. We don't have to totally listen to them.
I'm not familiar with what they are. So maybe you can.
Do they always have Chaos Dwarves in Blood Bowl? Like, it's always been there. They just haven't released them. Is that right?
So
I don't think they've been re-released for a while.
There to do all of the less interesting parts of Blood Bowl as far
they
as
don't look like they can be converted over to Old World too good. I know sometimes some Blood Bowl can.
Not too easily, yeah.
Hobgoblin Sneaky Stabber. And they fulfill the role of...
I've been pretty keen to do a Chaos Dwarf army, actually.
Yeah. I need to do a review for that, yeah. And Andrew's got some too, so...
exciting opportunity to
lots
see
of good prints
Hobgoblins
out there too now.
Purely just
awesome prints.
Yeah, it gives a chance for the Hobgoblins to find a little bit of the limelight. You know, they're never going to outstage the Chaos Dwarves themselves, but sometimes...
The Hobgoblins have always been a pretty good interest of mine, like the difference between the actual goblins and orcs and that sort of stuff, and actually having hobgoblins.
It's the Chaos Dwarfs.
Speaking of the Chaos Dwarfs, then Jay.
I think it's funny the Old World they always seem to be hobgoblins, black orcs in the Old World at the moment, the way it's playing.
They are back and badder than
big
ever.
Hats,
some
not as crazy as the old
big hats, horns,
big hats,
everything you love about your Chaos Dwarves. But there's also the Chaos Dwarf Flamesmiths.
I'm not a fan of the old big hats. I know it's an attraction for a lot of people, but I just can't get around it.
Spit fire at their opposition.
Having said that, I think this one, that guy that sat up before seemed to be a bit of a balance, you know? Wasn't as crazy big hat.
But there's also that chance
but big hat, not like the Forge World ones that didn't have big hats.
So we've got your two different types of Chaos Dwarf through that as well.
Incredible. So all of those four positions.
I've heard rumours. Are they bringing Chaos Dwarves out in Age of Sigmar? Is that what they were saying? I thought there was rumours about that.
By a bull centaur, my friend Henry.
I haven't seen anything on that.
Yeah.
And the bull centaur is back.
I'd be surprised. I guess
Otherwise-
they're legacy, so
Yeah, unless they bring them out in Old World and have them over there with Cathay and Kislev and all that, that'd be interesting. Like just release that whole side of the world. You know?
A bit more speed to their Chaos
Oh,
Dwarf.
this guy-
yeah, it would fit. Yeah, it would fit nicely if they bring in Cathay, because
Yeah.
start bringing in more of the Eastern factions.
Yeah,
Nothing
I
for
think
the,
so, that'd be cool.
The Chaos Dwarf team. Jay, what can we expect to see from the Chaos Dwarfs on the gridiron?
Because I thought that was the
Yes, we're taking the
original
opportunity not just to
rumor
update miniatures, but
hypothesis,
also
was
update-
that the
update
legacy
models
armies
and
were going to
tactics you
be
can use with them,
more and
during the
more
course of a game.
steered back
So
into
blockers feel very
Age of
similar to
Sigmar
what
and
we
kind of
used to. They
slowly
also have
shut
iron
down.
skin, as all
Yeah.
Chaos Dwarfs now
But
do. And that is a
it could be
challenge
a revisitation of that with how popular they are now.
I think everything's up now for review. And like someone was saying, the Dark Elves, because you used to be able to get the Dark Elf models in AOS, and then they've disappeared
anything like that as well.
Okay.
with the new cities. And
It's
so
sort
now
of
where are they?
10%
They're all
of
gone.
sort of
So it'd be interesting if there is.
stones slightly through the
I
use
think
of
they'll bring
their,
them all out. They'd be
dark
dumb not to
magics.
sell models, hey.
Flamesmith
Yeah.
is great
Right.
for.
I mean,
sacrifice,
surely, like everybody I speak to, all of the shop owners and the GW managers and that sort of stuff, say that like the old world sales have just been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, you just look like you go into Chaos now in AOS, and the stuff that's sold out is all stuff you'd use in like all those new Warrior guys and stuff. They're all like
Yeah.
currently unavailable. You can tell people are buying them for this, but
I can't wait to see how people sort of take to them and put them.
not that AOS isn't popular. I'm not saying that. It's just I think people are wanting good models for their for whole world.
Yeah.
So, and the more that
It'll be
it
interesting, like-
splits out,
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Like I think the hard crossover is the Skaven.
yes,
Like
yeah.
they're a super popular army in Old World, but I think it was obvious that GW really wanted them only in
IP.
Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, and it's funny because they are an exact client, like we said on the podcast this week. They're just there's not much changes. They don't look AOSified, really. If you know
That's
what I
right.
mean. So
So they're that ideal crossover army, which seems to be what GW is not wanting people to do, is have one army for two systems.
Yeah.
But they might reconsider it.
yeah, I mean, geez, once they're all out and if all the armies are out all separately, technically, I think who cares then? You know, but
That's
we'll
right.
see.
For the rest of us, we're going to come back in a moment in the Mortal Realms, where we're going to look
So this'll
at the aftermath of the Hellcrown with some new Stormcast.
Yeah,
Eternal
this will be
releases.
Stormcast.
Hope has turned to ruin as the Skaven proved too strong for the noble Stormcast Eternals. Hellcrown may have fallen.
I don't really know
but
much about
Sigmar's mighty
AOS story
warriors will
stuff.
I don't know the lore,
return
but yeah.
reforged to
I
fight
having
another
said
day.
that, I have liked what I've seen, what they're trying to do with their Stormcast, making them a little bit more human. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
not just total like most of them don't even wear a helmet now. By the look of it, this guy doesn't have a helmet. Like, none of them do. You know what I mean? You suddenly start going, okay, sort of get it a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, he has one, but God, that looks like a demigriff. I know it's those. I don't think it's a demigriff. What do they call them? Or something. God, you could almost get that guy and use him as some type of lion.
I was just about to say
What's it called? The
a little bit of carving and that sort of stuff. And
we got. Oh yeah, that can be used. I think that's going to be in the Empire armies.
Welcome back. Joined now by Matt and Phil from the Warhammer Age of Sigmar team to talk about the aftermath of the Hellcrown experience. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Phil.
Thanks. Great to be
Lovely
here.
to have you join me. So, with the slaughter at Hellcrown concluded and the Skaven running roughshod across the city, we've got a chance to look at all the new Stormcast Eternal releases that are coming. I wonder if we can just start from the top and talk about the new Stormstrike Paladors.
These are epic cavalry. They're really fast.
They-
They hit hard. They have
They're pretty much demigriffs, aren't they?
they are, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, you could use them.
Yeah, absolutely. And
They look-
really giving that kind of
I wonder how integral the riders are to the.
Yeah, if they've like legs are connected. Like, because I could see you could mix them. They're a little bit more eagly in the front there.
Other warriors are falling, and,
But-
you know, they're really that
Chop 'em
second
off at the
wave that's
waist.
gonna come smashing
Yeah.
through into the enemy. Devastating charge.
You could mix them in, I reckon, if the sizes are pretty close.
Or counter charge, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, they're a really great late game attack that will cinch victory for you.
That sounds amazing. And we also saw some fantastic cat armors. My favourite, I've always loved the new
The Lord of the Elector.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
he looks
yeah,
cool, but I
well,
mean,
these go way back, don't they? I mean, we saw the first one back in the Realmgate Wars. Ionis Critborn, essentially the catalyst that formed.
he's
these
basically the
liberation
Chaos
chambers.
Dragon that everyone uses.
Lord
But
Valiant kind of like the spiritual guardians of the Stormcast, and so they have a profound effect on the warriors around them, and they have meaning as well.
Yeah, you know, they just give you that.
Cool for Priest of Maw, the skull face.
yeah.
But it's very reminiscent of the Space Marine chaplain.
Yeah, it is, eh? Like, totally. Is it the...
You put a bolter in his hand and it's like,
Yeah.
yep, there you go.
Sounds awesome. And I love all the sort of morbid imagery on them. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's a cool banner though.
There's a new
Yeah.
Lord Terminus miniature.
Oh,
What
so
can
it's
you
that
tell
little
us
dude
about
there.
Lord Terminus and their role within the Stormcast Eternals.
Oh, you were right to say morbid imagery. These guys are really the final point of a lot of Stormcast journey.
Because every time they die and come back, they just lose a little bit of themselves. Is that how the story?
Yeah.
Living, fighting, being reborn over and over again. But yes, they're also pretty good at taking off the enemy's heads with their two-handed axes as well, which is, I mean, that thing's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, and you know, fun to use and nice synergy with that brand new Ruination Chamber, which is now expanding with a few more options to bring into play.
You segue beautifully into great new Reclusian models.
Because of this new kit, you can now have a great variety. You can
It's like I get confused with all the names, even like in
Well, especially
40k with the Space Marines. Now they're all got their different names, and I've no idea.
All the
what's going on.
Primaris ones.
Yeah. It's like, aren't they, where's the tactical Marines? They just don't,
Yeah.
it's just not there anymore.
fully fledged chamber.
And they've done the
with
same thing.
interesting
Stormcast have
synergies
no
within it,
idea.
Interesting abilities, and you know, the Reclusians form one of the core elite units.
They're your rank and file.
Yeah.
The Ruination Chamber, but each one of them is
Pretty
like
elite level.
high bar,
really high elite warrior. And they come with the Memorians. Those are almost like their squires who are.
You could
That's a
almost
cool
use
line.
some of them for the flagellants or something.
Yeah.
Or even just a priest, warrior priest.
You know, one of the common threads that'll apply to all of the Ruination Chamber units is that incredible resistance, right? They've been through so much, they've been reforged so many times. They're going into just the absolute worst.
I do like that they've come up.
most
It's got
deadly
its own
places,
lore now. It's
whether
very.
enemies'
I can see why
spells,
people would like
prayers,
it.
or
Like if, you know.
abilities,
Yeah.
debuffs, or you know, different things. They kind of have.
And it's good. It's certainly
kind of shrug that off.
stepped itself away from
Lore and
the old world type thing.
Yeah.
It's not just the sequel of the old world. It's its own thing now.
Yeah.
The other end of the
It's been going for like 10 years or something now, isn't it? So it's probably-
Yeah, don't say that.
oh no, it's crazy.
Commander, you know, really works well. Can fight back to back with different units. Opens up.
Yeah, like even that. Yeah, even if you had to take the bottom of that figure off and just use that whole upper half.
General on foot.
There's some general of the White Wolf or something.
And lead your forces.
Pretty cool.
I love it. Whenever I play with my Stormcast.
Or a Kurgan. Chaosifying.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
an important part. Yeah, exactly. I think
It's a
it's
beautiful kit as well. And
Well,
as you said,
right.
lots of fun options, and you kind of just customize it to really make your own.
This is the problem when you're just watching these things, and probably not the best to listen to us react to stuff that we don't actually know about. Especially when it's just one little part, the roadmap, no idea how long it'll go for. The question is, will we see things for?
So Taunus is really.
Yeah, that was my question on it. Was like, are we only going to see? What's it called, like, you know, what's coming, like the next one, or are we going to see more? You know, like, are we going to
Well,
end up
surely
knowing
there's-
when everything's coming out? You know,
Like we're more than halfway through, aren't we? The Arcane Journals.
yeah, 5 of 9, yeah.
I mean, there can't be like if they're only going to talk about the remaining Arcane Journals. That's not much of a roadmap. It's like, oh yeah, here's when the next 4 journals are coming out. Surely they're going to talk about something else. The last couple of interviews I thought they've had with developers and designers, they've always hinted that there are other things that they are now working on or that they're holding back for. I think there was when they did an interview about some of the armies for the Arcane Journals. They're like, well, we can't put them all into this one. We're leaving some in reserve type thing, kind of not outright saying that there's a second round coming, but
Yeah.
that they've got stuff ready for something else. So,
Yeah, not sure, Paul. It'd be nice to just be, like, even if we found out what the remaining 4 is for, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jim King.
absolutely. So this is a
Yeah.
complete build.
Yeah.
It's a Azurite Art Deco style. It's
Because then you get a bit of a picture of what's coming next year. Because there's no way that
shades, the Memorians.
this is going to drag on through to 2025, like all the way through 2025. So there's going to be something. Or maybe they'll leak this General's Compendium type thing they've been talking about, or something, or at least hint at something like that.
Having that option to hold some of
It'd be
I
nice
mean,
to
when was the
actually
release?
that
The release was like,
yeah,
go through that portal.
yeah,
Just deep,
like
So
February,
in-
but January. Yeah.
deep into the
6-7 months, they've released 5 of them.
Aspects to it. Which is huge. So yeah,
So there's no way that like they'll be able to milk the remaining 4 for
No.
another 14 months.
I'd imagine 2's going to at least come out more, and then there might be 2 in the first quarter of next year, and then that's it. So
obviously a huge deal.
unless they bring out something else in between, like one of these, this compendium idea or whatever the hell that people have been talking about. That's the cool thing I'd like to see. I don't care about the models, but it'd be nice to get some. And they've said, the project's expanded and all that. It'd be cool just to get a little bit of a hint that, that is happening, and not just, wait for another 2 years until you find that out. But I guess we'll see.
Can happen in the Ruination Chambers, and the order of the Lord Terminos has come up.
Yeah, the
Gilbert
generals.
said they all look like Chaos Warriors. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat. I had it shut. Sorry. Those Stormcast Eternals. Yeah, but that's the thing that you can convert so many of them to Chaos, I reckon.
Yeah.
Eugene said, fingers crossed, some high elves next on the roadmap. Yeah, this thing's cool. I'm not sure the paint job's that great for these wings. They could have done probably a better job, but
No, the kit has a separate component, right?
Yeah, and absolutely. So you can also build this kit as a Lord Vigilant.
Cannot see Fantasy Space Marines. Yeah, it's
yeah,
Lord Vigilant, as with the Lord Vigilant in the Skaven Tide starter set, this time with a much bigger mount, is your kind of classic commander for your Ruination Chamber. Also,
they do their
we could
mounts
use
good.
that, though.
fighter
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot of speed with a Morgreth going around the battlefield. Whereas, Iridan the Witness is a priest, first of all, as we talked about, always a kind of useful archetype, really.
Yeah,
Wouldn't,
surely
wouldn't
you're
be
going to see a
surprised
flood
to
of
see them,
conversions and that.
Yeah, I think so. Even high elves would use that.
For the army as a whole, while being certainly no slouch in combat.
Awesome. That sounds just incredible. Well, look, it's been amazing having you guys come and.
It's so funny that you get these model reveals for AOS, and you're like, it's the first thing we always go to. Okay, how do we use it?
Yeah. It's like the Necromunda community. Everything that gets released is a Necromunda model.
Yeah.
It's like,
So Ben, it's been a really big year for Age of Sigmar. What are the highlights been for you throughout the year?
I think the highlights for me is the.
I always wonder about Ben because he was this guy was such a big fantasy player. If
and in particular, personally,
obviously he plays AOS and he's into it, but I wonder if he's playing Old World because he was such a big Old World guy. But yeah.
Playing it right now in all of my gaming groups. Yeah.
I've just come back from a weekend at a friend's where we played 10 games over a Saturday and a Sunday.
Amazing.
so who is steering the old world? Do we know?
Well, I mean, it's a guy. I can't remember his name now. To start with J. No, well, there's JYT, sorry, but there's another guy who's his boss. That's the main guy, I think. And he's like an old hammer dude. There was about 2 or 3 of them that were doing it, but obviously it's I would imagine it's expanded now, and they're probably starting to put more people on it.
I know you've been hard at work, you and your team, working on lots of stuff.
Can't remember what his name was. People would know in the chat maybe, because JYT is one of the obviously big designers as well. But I think there's like a department boss above him. I think.
Yep.
From a rules point of view, from photography as well, worked really hard to make them really exciting.
Because I know is it Goodwin's daughter or Godwin's daughter took over the cartography of the map and that sort of stuff when Suggs left.
Yeah, so there's new obviously the Age of Sigmar storyline progression.
So it'll be good to see if the actual map starts expanding again, because that kind of came to a grinding halt.
There's definitely stuff in there though. Like how there's the Vampire Coast icons and stuff in there. I mean, imagine if they brought out a Vampire Coast full plastic army down the track. I mean, that would sell like freaking hotcakes as well. There's certain little niches there and they've done that with AOS. They've taken a niche like the tree kin dudes, the Sylvaneth, and turn it into a whole army, and they could do the same things.
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely do like really good location-specific expansions, like
Yeah.
Cathay, Albion,
Yeah.
Araby, that sort of stuff. Terrain, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lustria. So.
I guess that's the other one that would be interesting if they ever brought Lizardman back in, because it's such a... Lizardman and Skaven are probably in that same boat that they're very... I mean, Lizardmen are more dinosaurs, so it's not exactly Games Workshop, but what they do, you know, it's very the same.
Yeah.
Andy Hall was in charge of the old world at the very start, okay, Gilthos said. 2000, maybe that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Joe's... People are saying, yeah, outside of the Stormcast, they're very inspired models. AOS, absolutely. I mean, and Joe's right. I'm mostly just jealous because if they had put half the effort into fantasy that they're putting in AOS, they wouldn't have had to kill it. Well, yeah, true. But I'm also like, you can see if they put energy in how good the models and everything would be. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to deal with the old stuff we've got. It's great to get it. But if this game's staying around, and Heresy's a great example. I mean, look how good are the mechanical models and stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
They're bloody, once it comes out in their new stuff, it's, the whole world's going to look fantastic. We just might have to wait a couple of versions, you know, like editions, like Heresy had to, so.
Sink their teeth into from a campaign and narrative perspective is great.
Yeah, and we also then picked that up with the latest match.
I tried to get into 10th 40k. I just got lost. It just keeps going and going and new stuff. And then because they kept patching the game because they sort of broke it initially, it's just I don't know what the rules are. It's too complicated.
Our local player group plays at a sports club where they've got like a cafe and function rooms. And while we were playing Heresy, it was just amusing to listen to the 40k players in our group play their games, and it just continually evolve into something completely unrecognizable for us. We were just playing this very static Warhammer Heresy, and they started getting command points and reactions and all of these sort of things. And it's like,
it's just a board.
What are you
it's
playing?
Not a war game anymore, is it? Yeah. Which again, cool if you like that. It's just like, get your head around it. It's just not exactly the same. I was trying in my head get my head around the stratagems, thinking, okay, they like magic spells. You know, just think of them as like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I was trying to like cross-reference in my head. How the hell do you go and remember all this stuff? But we probably had the same issues with fantasy when you have heaps of different spell laws, and especially in 8, you know, you had so many spells to try and remember what everyone's did. Gilthos said, yeah, Andy Hall wrote the 7th edition Beastman book, one of the most balanced books. Yeah, so I mean, does that mean he's still involved, Gilthos, or is he? Because is he JYT's boss? Because that's what I was hearing. I thought there was like someone in charge of it, but then there was a couple of these people that are doing the rules and cartography and all that.
Yeah.
Super exciting. Really good. Yeah, I think favorite regiment.
Someone's in charge of going through, trying to find all the old molds. Get them out of the cupboard.
That'll be very exciting. We're going to follow that up with some Eldari launches. Wow. Really rounding out some of the Aspect Warriors with some new sculpts for those, which will be really cool. And then some really
I haven't heard who's in charge. Yeah. What was that, mate?
I was going to say the old world map. So if you go to like the Games Workshop old world website and scroll down, that interactive map.
Has it been updated lately though? At all? Has that
I've
website
only been
even
really
got the new factions on it though? I went to it the other day and it only had Tomb Kings thingy on it again. I was like, why haven't they updated it? Like when you go to the actual old world site, is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the old world site, and then scroll down. There's a map that you can click on for interactive.
Oh, there you go. Andy Hall's obviously on Horus Heresy now. There we got answer. They heard us talking.
Age of Darkness, Legion Imperialis.
Yeah.
Really nice to have you here. It has been an amazing couple of years for the Horus Heresy.
Bring it up a little bit and listen to this one.
Darkness launch. It was about 2 years ago now, right?
Summer 22.
Wow. Yeah. What a time has flown by. And what's that been like for you and your team?
It's been a crazy ride, obviously. So we came out of the gate with a big box set with loads of cool stuff in it. We did New Mark 6. It's
Space Marines.
Painted a lot of
I
them.
painted many of them myself. Yeah, we did upgrade sets to turn them into heavy support squads.
I like the
special
Mark,
weapons
Mark
squads, all that
3, I
sort of
think it
thing,
is. They're the
veteran
ones I
squads, you
bought.
can make
Yeah,
those stuff out
Mark
of
3 and
those
4.
upgrades.
Really old school.
My
We came
favourite.
out with loads of tanks because we already had the.
Because I was
in resin, so
doing
we
a Sons of
saved them
Horrors
to
army,
make
but I
them
painted
get in
one figure.
plastic, which is why we had so
That's
many
all
of
I got
those.
around.
And then Super Soon we brought out Mark 6 Assault Marines. And then the really exciting thing, we get to expand into more factions. So first of all, the first
Yeah.
wave of Solar Auxiliary.
That's what the biggest criticism when they've
down the line.
relaunched
And
was
then
that
Mechanicum, which is the next big.
there was no AdMech and no Solar Imperial, Solar Militia or anything like that. And it's like you just
That's absolutely right. So
you had players with full-fledged armies, and it's like,
Space Marines.
Nah.
I can't use them.
Good selection, so they should go
well, the legacy army lists were absolutely woeful, which is why people were a little bit
Yeah,
worried about the legacy armies for Old World. They're like, if you repeat what you did for Heresy, this is going to be crap.
Yeah.
They didn't.
How did, because you were saying on the podcast, like, obviously you were into first and not second edition. But when I looked at second edition, it's definitely 7th edition 40k. So it's still Warhammer-like. It doesn't have stratagems and stuff. But how did it massively change? Like, what was first edition Heresy based off?
6th.
Okay.
So the big difference is they brought in reactions,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
which was massively kind of changing the flow of the game.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But they also wound the lists back again. So there were a few other differences with psychic powers and that sort of stuff, and they changed up the way the mechanics interacted. But yeah, it was kind of the reset of the armies and the reactions. It changed the way that you built lists into a more mechanical way. It's like, okay, I've got to build this roundabout reactions rather than, okay, I'm going to build this cool thingy list. It's like, okay, I can get this reaction to do this, or if I bring this unit, they get this specialist
so it's
reaction.
sort of turned a little bit more of that gamey way that they've sort of
Kind of
gone
like
with
your
everything.
command point generation that
Yeah,
40k went through. It's like, okay, how do I get the most command points and that? Which I just didn't like.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the way it was released in that here's just army lists, and it took them ages to bring out campaign books, which was what
Right.
the Horus Heresy was all about.
Yeah.
So,
So specifically for Age of Darkness, first of all,
This guy looks like Andy, or looks like he's come out of the 30k, like the Horus Heresy War.
hopefully quite soon.
I love it.
shaven ponytail.
We've mentioned in some roadmaps in the past. We're probably almost ready to show those, I'd have thought. Much awaited. Yeah. There'll be more Space Marine stuff, more core Space Marine stuff. Longer term.
But to me, he looks like a wargamer. Some of them in like for
Yeah.
AOS, I feel like they don't actually play. I don't know what
Yep.
it is. It's a bit too clear. I don't know. Don't know what it is.
Yeah, you can see Andy at the table.
Yeah.
And Mechanicum as well. So we'll carry on broadening each of those.
I'm sure they all do, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Ooh, Andrew's here. G'day, all. You should join Andrew. We're not even up to the old world yet. He was worried about it looking unprofessional. I'm like, as if we're professional.
And then a couple of years doing it with
We'll see if he pops in.
I
I think Thursday's his worst day. Like he's actually doing stuff.
When we
So
get into the Legion specific stuff down the line, that will be the real way down with it, definitely.
That sounds amazing. What can you tell us about future releases for Legions Imperialis?
Yeah.
Legions Imperialis is a great range because it's all plastic and most of it is drawing off of vehicles and unit types that we already know about for the Age of Darkness game. So it's definitely our ambition long term that anything that we make for the full scale Age of Darkness game, we would also make for the big scale.
Okay.
For the Legions Imperialis game. That gives us an enormous.
is that because you can just go into your CAD design and go zzz, bring down,
Just shrink it down.
shrink it down?
Their infantry is
Vertices.
woeful, though.
Yeah, like as in the models.
Yeah, like some of the plastic models, there's just blocks of plastic instead of like a leg and an arm and that sort of stuff. The 3D printable stuff is just so much better.
Yeah, I really don't think their paint jobs did them justice on those. That, I don't know what it was on the for the infantry either. I don't know if it just it looks slapped together a bit. I don't know.
Like I can't comment on paint. I just don't paint, and especially something that's like that small.
That's right, and they are doing like just before when they zoomed it right up. I mean, anyone's going to look crap. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
I'll bring the volume up.
I'm joined now by Dan from the Warhammer Old World team. Dan's part of the group that write all of the rules and the lore for the Old World game. It's lovely to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
My pleasure. It's been an amazing year for Warhammer the Old World. We've seen this renaissance of a system and a setting that I particularly love. How have you found it so far?
It's been wonderful to welcome everybody back to the World of Legend.
Yeah.
It's one of our most sort of beloved IPs, and it's something that we as a team have really, really enjoyed delving back into.
Yeah, absolutely. So since sort of it returned, what have we seen so far? What have people been able to get involved with?
So we've seen the release of the core game, and alongside that we had our launch boxes for the Bretonians and the Tomb Kings, which went out really well. They were very popular and people were really excited by the content. We followed that up with the Orc and Goblin Tribes, the Arcane Journal format, and again, the content in there people seem to be really, really resonating with, so we're happy with how that's been going. And then we just most recently had the Dwarven Mountain Holds return.
For me, I'm super excited by those. Some of the miniatures in the Warhammer Dwarfs range are amongst my favourites. They were actually the first miniatures I ever bought from Games Workshop way back in the day. A tiny little Adam with hair and no beard,
That's fantastic.
wandering into a Games Workshop store to buy dwarfs. So delightful to see. What have you been doing yourself? Come on, have you dipped your toe in? What's your army of choice?
Absolutely. I mean, when you work at Games Workshop and at Warhammer World especially, it's hard not to. So I've been building up an Orc and Goblin tribe army. Yes, lots of bits for a nomadic war in particular. I just love the idea of these Orcs and Goblins mounting up and racing off to go and raid and pillage Bretonian farms and places in the Border Princes, and then racing off again with all their loot.
Those turnip farmers don't know what's coming.
They really don't.
I love it. That sounds amazing. So we've had lots of great stuff in 2024 already. What can we expect to see before the end of the year?
Well, hot on the heels of the Dwarf launch, we have the Warriors of Chaos making their return to the old world. We're in an interesting time period in the setting at the moment where Chaos has been waning in power a little bit, but with the rise of a certain Everchosen and that doom approaching, Chaos is on the rise again, and we begin to cover that in the Chaos Arcane Journal.
That's very exciting. We're on the approach from a historical point of view to a very exciting time within Warhammer's sort of setting and chronology, aren't we?
Absolutely. The Siege of Prague and the battles around Kislev mark some of the most important points in this period. But we've got a lot of distance to cover before we reach that climactic battle.
It's a way off yet, but you can see
100%.
it distantly on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, we've got so many events to cover, and as anybody who's been following the narrative in the Arcane Journals will see that we've been sort of jumping all over the place and really enjoying the sandpit of this time period we have to look at.
That's really exciting. So Chaos Warriors within 2024. If we look a little bit further out, sort of beyond the horizon, as it were, what can you tell us about what the future holds?
Well, it would be improper, really, for us to follow the Warriors of Chaos with anything other than the Empire of Man.
Yes.
The two have been classic foes for as long as Warhammer has been around. So, again, it just made absolute sense for the Empire to follow up.
That sounds so exciting. The old one just continues to add something new to a system that so many of us love and enjoy. It's been really exciting having you come and join us, Dan. Thanks for taking the time. Some amazing stuff in the studios about Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Age of Darkness, and the Old World. But we've also got loads on the way for our other systems. Necromunda. Hive Secundus took us underground with the terrifying Genes de la Cult. Expect to see another
we got told
faction
Empire's
this year.
coming.
And further into the future, we'll be looking at other factions to add. Kill Team.
It sounds like whatever they're going to do, they're going to bring Kislev
the
back,
new
but
edition
it
of
might
Kill
just
Team.
be...
We're looking forward to seeing people get hold of the new rules.
They keep on mentioning it. And as you said, I think that the rumours were kind of quite strong that there was already plastics made or samples made for Kislev.
That's what I heard. I mean, don't know, but yeah. Well, that was that's it. Games Workshop. Oh well. I mean, look, it's fine. It feels like that was recorded before they told us about Chaos coming out because we already knew it was coming out.
Yeah, that's right. He seemed kind of. Yeah.
And then they've just Look, I mean, well, that's cool. Now we know the Empire's next, and it's broken that whole rule book. Everyone was saying, oh, well, that means Chaos and High Elves are next because of the way the rule book thing logo
The shield sequence,
Yeah, shuts down the cover icon theory. Exactly. So Vicious Helsing said that, but that's a bit of a shame that that's all we get. It will be interesting to see what they do with Empire, if it's slightly bigger release or not, in terms of exists so much.
It's interesting they've used the term what was it, World of Legend, a couple of times now. So
they keep.
Is that now the
the
catch-all phrase of Old World?
Yep, basically they've started using that a fair bit, and I guess to sort of break it out from AOS, but It's not so much the Warhammer world anymore, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's fair. So, yeah, well, I mean, surely Kislev would be on the books, but who knows with.
Well, the only thing I was a little bit disappointed, not so much with the lack of anything, apart from some dude telling about his Orc and Goblin army, is did they just totally squash our theory of me? Like I said, we've got Chaos now, we're going to get at least 2 out before the end of the year, and then the only thing they really said is Empire again. So there could be a chance that the only thing we see to the end of the year is Empire. Basically.
Well, yeah, I even actually took that Chaos was for the rest of the year, and then on the horizon was Empire.
Actually,
but as you said, it did sound as though they recorded that before they released Empire. I mean Chaos. So they might be rushing the release to get Empire out before the end of the year. Like if Chaos is going up for pre-order shortly, they can't just kind of suddenly stop.
No,
that's right. And
what else?
That'll be the 1st of September. That's 3 months still. You've got October, November, the rest of September. So it's nearly 4 months. Surely they've got to do more releases, so they'll be dropping Empire.
Unless Empire does come out right near the end of the year, it's a Christmas release, and then you've still got 3 to go next year. Look, I mean, what was that?
Don't they do big box sets for Christmas release? So maybe Empire will be a follow-up box set or something like that.
I just think there's a lot in Empire that they could do. Given that the storyline too is like, the Civil War, they could almost bring out, various, like you could almost double the Arcane Journal and have different army listy type things based on the different provinces and stuff. So you're just not getting 2. Armies of Infamy, that type of thing. So I don't know. Sorry, 2+ podcast. No, there wasn't not so much anything about Kislev, but they did make a mention that this whole time period is going to climax to the city, obviously the sack of Prague and stuff, which is Kislev. So I'm thinking if you're again, you can't predict what GW do, but you would think that if they were going to want to, match that up, that if they are going to eventually bring out Kislev, they would do it in a version that is around that Battle of Prague and have them involved in that and all that sort of stuff. So, but who knows?
If you're saying that, if you're saying that the kind of the culmination of all of the events are leading up to Prague, then and you don't have an army to represent like one of the major factions in that conflict, it's a bit weird.
We don't have the army for it, but we've got all the other people that are inside that country there, but we just don't have the actual armies. So. Yeah, someone just said, I feel like 3 armies of infamy might be the 3 pretenders to the throne. I mean, that's the thing. It'd be cool if they expand. I don't think anyone could complain if Empire got a little bit more in that, but I mean, having said that, I doubt it. I think they've got 48-page limit. They've already budgeted this, and that's what you're getting for every Arcane Journal, I'd imagine. So anyway, that's all cool, man. Well, that wasn't as big as we thought, but at least we know Empire's coming up and we can start thinking about that. Thanks, Dono, for jumping on. Otherwise, I was going to be very, very rambling by myself, especially because that's all there was. It's a bit sad. Anyway, as I said, big thanks to Dono, and for those listening, hopefully we've got another. I'm getting a Chaos warrior faction focus coming out from and Ed from the Close Order podcast is coming on, so he knows far more about Chaos than I do. So hopefully that'll come out in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, thanks for watching one of the All World Fanatics videos again. Cheers, guys.